I've been settling it just fine. Man, this location entirely is going to be my go-to. They're going to be my go-to, and I just saw a squirrel that's just chilling, just walking. This is a playground. This is what I always dreamed of and aspired. This space, this is therapy. This is my church. Not some random building with a bunch of people that, whether they like me or not is not really the premise, but most of these people are praying on your downfall. Because again, the religious amalgamation of just so many different promises, but yet these promises aren't fully cultivated, because on one hand you're talking about God has a plan, but then another, you still have starving kids in Uzbekistan, you still have starving kids in Haiti, in Africa, you still have issues with the Middle East, and the Middle East is constantly being targeted and bombarded with a bunch of bombs, and people, just some odd reason, just want to target them. I mean, it's very cliche, and at the same time, you just gotta remember that if you're gonna put me in a position where, there's some figure out there, there's some mystical being out there just loves me dearly, but doesn't actually fully express it, and then within the book itself, it's promises, and then there was other times where he condones genocide, condones slavery, condones taking advantage of younger women. It's a big deal. I have to bring this up every other time, or every single time. It's a big part of my life. It has drastically changed and altered the way I viewed people at first, and then now I'm realizing it's not that I'm not special or I don't deserve any better. You just gotta be considerate of, let's say, Middle Eastern people. Does it look like the Middle Eastern people want you to talk about some scriptures from the Bible? Bro, they need water. They need to not be bombed right now. How about you actually be there and help them? How about you give them some type of safety? Something. Like, presence. You don't need to always give answers, man. The problem with most people, and the way I've experienced over the course of time, especially within that space, is they always want to give an answer. There always has to be a definitive answer. And it's not the first time me talking about this. Not the first time. It's so relieving that I can actually be with people now and be free of myself, because I actually want to be free with these people. And I can just be there in presence. And I don't have to just constantly tell them, you need to do this, you need to do that. I've learned myself. I had to go through that experience for me to learn myself. Hey, I had to go through experience by myself to learn for myself. Yeah, that makes sense, in a way. It just sounds weird. Presence matters more sometimes than what you say. Sometimes. Of course you want to help. Not everything is gonna be thrown back against you. I think it's okay to be somebody that tries to help, tries to verbally express what's going on and how would you want to help them and stuff. Sometimes though, you gotta learn to stay silent. Sometimes you gotta learn to just be present and just give them that space. It's a lot harder to do that because we're so used to wanting to talk or wanting our turn to see ourselves in a position where we could possibly help, or see ourselves in a complexity of we're helping, so we have the superiority and we have the ego, we have the pride to, hey look, I helped out today. Well, you could also say you helped out today, you just didn't say much. Like, you don't have to always have something to prepare feel like you have to figure out a solution. That's not the purpose. The purpose of going through these experiences is not to immediately find an answer. Sometimes you guys just need to just stick together. You know? Everything that you go through, you got somebody by your side, or you're just alone. But you know that you're not really alone. You're just alone in terms of your own thoughts and your own interpretation of experience and your own nervous system and how it operates. You see this, right? Listen. This is a literal playground. This is what I've always wanted, you know? This type of nature, this amount of nature and this amount of space where there's at least some water, this type of outline of how this park is like. And little trails right there too. There's little trails that we've passed by before in some of my vids. Bro, this is such a great place. Especially if you need some relief and you need a walk. Dude, just come to this park. This park is so special to me. This park has a lot of genuine value. It's genuinely helped me over the course of the past month. It's about to be a whole month since I moved in. I feel peace. There's not as much chaos. There's not as much intensity. Like, even if at home, I still got some things to work on, settle for employment, and I have to settle into this Jersey lifestyle, and, you know, it's all rainbows and sunshines, obvio. But I don't have to wake up and just be afraid that space is gonna call me, and then they're gonna be like, oh, are you gonna keep up with your Proven Faith circle? Proven Faith circle? How you doing with your checklist? Your faith checklist? I feel like such a dumbass, man. Every time I have to recalibrate myself and not be so upset. It feels as if I'm always holding on to this I'm not resenting nothing, because there's nothing really to resent anymore. I'm just getting new downloads every now and then about certain experiences I went through, and then I ultimately realized, oh man, I did get bullied. I did get gaslit. Like, the past video or two, I was talking about how I gotten bullied for being different from the general public, from the general space of the church. Dude, just because you frame it as, oh, I'm joking. Look, if we have to explain to you at times like this that you're joking, chances are you're not. You're just exposing your insecurity. And that's, hey, you just gotta let it be known. Like, whatever, it's not a big deal, but if you're not gonna be able to be an adult and address your issue and conflict with your own shadow, then that's exactly one of the main reasons why I had to go, because I have to be as far away from you as possible. You don't help yourself. All you are doing is just dodging the reality that you're living. That's on you. That's on you. You want to talk about me not taking accountability. Well, the general space is not taking accountability. Look at you. You want to act like that the transphobia shit didn't happen. You're leaving to Jordan, to Egypt, to tender the Christian church over there. Or the Christian churches, the evangelical fundamentalists over there. But I'm never gonna let go with the transphobia. I'm not letting that go. And I'm referring you to as a transphobic leader. I can't let that go. And it's not because there's resentment, but because that's your character. That's what you choose to expose. You are the transphobic leader. You can't be a leader and be that transphobic. You can't. Or I don't see you as such. Other people may see you as a leader because They haven't truly seen the real you. They're not supposed to. You know why? Because if they truly see the real you, it's raps. But most people are so ubiquitous with how they retreat themselves, and they want to be so caved in into the image that they're thinking about other people so bad. Oh, but no, not from my knowledge. Well, your knowledge doesn't always matter in this case then, because other people do not experience everybody the same. Not everyone experiences me the same. Bro, there's people that have walked past me before and think that I'm strange. Whether it's because I just exist or something that I've done before that's messed up. Whether I was just blocking the way of the train even though the train was packed, or I got in their way while we were walking. Like, everybody has a different interpretation of everybody else. And look, even if it doesn't hold true to the fullest extent in certain cases, there is certain times where if I'm telling you this is who they genuinely are as people, and these experiences are just a one of a million, this is their exact personality, you gotta take it with a grain of salt, and you just gotta be like, yeah, I think he's just being genuinely honest, because, dude, you observed this space for a whole year, right, Shane? Yes, that's the thing. I have been with this space for a year and a half. I didn't just say this stuff just to say it. I didn't experience it just to experience it. I'm not talking to you about this just to talk about it. Bro, this isn't just another video. This is actually the experience that I went through. And this is what I have downloaded. That's why I intuitively knew all along. They're not who you think they are. They're not supposed to be. You know why? Because then they lose their momentum. They'll lose their momentum. They can't have that. They need to have control, whether it's in themselves or with other people, or to other people as well. Understand this. That space is really obsessed with having definitive answers and wanting to be somebody that just saves the lost. I hate that term. Save the lost. I hate it. I hate it. It disgusts me. It even offends me, man. Like, what do you mean we're lost? Just because we're not you, it means we're lost? This whole superiority complex. This is, ugh. I hate it. I hate it. How do I even tell my own parents this? I'm walking right next to the ducks again. Good dog. And there's a squirrel right there too. I don't know if you can see it. Maybe you do. Yeah, you do. I'm really, really, really happy with myself that I have gotten the awareness factor. I have gotten a sense of understanding of my own self and what I put myself through and what I have realized, rather than, oh man, I'm just gonna keep it going because I can't escape. I could escape. My dad's house was the escape. Of course I had to avoid that space. Dude, they were draining my energy. They made me wake up living in fear so many times in my like 1.5 years of being there. Like, I've lived in fear in most days more than hell. Dude, I don't even know I had this experience. Even my recovery from having a near-death experience with the fainting episodes, and one of them being a overnight hospital visit. Dude, although this was just a near-death experience, and that brings in more intensity, and I went through physical therapy a little bit for the next few months. A little bit, nothing crazy. I got my brain scan too. I went to a neurologist, and everything was normal. Still, that doesn't overwhelm me as much as what that space has tarnished me. It's almost as like the humiliation rituals that space indirectly gave me, it had just overwhelmed me to the point where That's all I could really think about. I can only, whenever I sleep, I only can think about them. I can only think about if God really loves me like he thinks he does. Well, the God that I was worshiping. But the God that they're worshiping, I don't believe that anymore. Or I know that's not a thing. Because that type of God shouldn't exist. It shouldn't. Because that God is a very manipulative, gaslighty type of person or a figure. This is not a good role model. It's a really horrible role model at that. Wanting you to worship him and expecting you to bow down to his knees every 5 seconds. It's a horrible, horrible influence. Horrible role model. That's not the God that I know exists. The God I know exists understands that love is universal. Love isn't calculatedly, I know that's not a word, but I'm gonna make it a word anyways. It is not calculatedly selective. Or I could have just said selective if at the first rip. But for some odd reason, I want to be fancy and want to come up with words and make up words for no reason. That's fun. We're going to talk about that space a lot. For entertainment, to express what they put me through. And they're not going to be not a punching bag anytime soon. Or they're never not going to be my punching bag anytime soon. Or they will forever be my punching bag. To make it a little easier. The punching bag, whether I like a few people from there still or not, isn't the premise. The premise is I'm free. I don't have to think about them anymore. They don't have to constantly, because I delete all their numbers, I'm free from them. I don't care. I'm not going back to New York on the weekends because then they're just going to force me to go to church. When I clearly stated I do not want to go back, I have to make a statement. I am not going back. Let's repeat and let's reiterate for the grown people in the back. Shane and Swizzy Shane, both the same people, they are not coming back to that space, no matter what. Even if his older brother comes from Texas, he's not going back. Respect his decision. Maybe if I acquire a microphone or a big speaker, I could just screech out loud that then. Don't want to make a loud nuisance. But still. Grown people, you have to constantly remind them at times like this. I do not want to go back. That's not your business and that's not your issue when you're talking about what have they done to you. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But if you want to worry about it so much, and if I were to tell you and you want to perceive me as a schizo, then you might as well just do that. Because that's all you're going to do. All you're going to do is deflect and misunderstand and be inconsiderate and misinterpret, misrepresent me, and that's all you're going to do. I'm not wasting time expressing myself or explaining myself. The only people, again, I'm going to explain myself to is my older brothers and my stepbrother. That's it. And maybe my dad. And some of my dad's side of the family, which includes some of my cousins and my stepbrother's sister. That's it. That's it. Nobody else. It's beautiful, isn't it? Life's so good when all you can think about is nature and how good it is. Compared to, I'll have to think about that space and them telling me that I have to share my faith with 5 people today and I have to challenge myself to talk to 5. Dude, it's not a challenge to talk to 5 people. The thing is that I don't want to convince people to be in a brainwashing indoctrination camp similar to how I went through it. I want them to think for themselves. I don't want them to be brainwashed. So even what I don't believe in most of what the Bible talks about, like, why would I convince somebody to convert when I don't believe half of what they say? Tears, man. It's funny. So again, y'all, I think this is the time and place where I can go get an ice cream. So I'm gonna do that. And you want to cheers now? Yeah, let's cheers. So to sum up this video, experience people because you want to experience with them and you want to be in their presence. Don't just look for some value or look for some type of solution if somebody's going through something. You wouldn't like it if people are constantly hollering and yapping whenever you're going through something tough, sad. Just be present, man. Help them. Make them their favorite food. Take them out to the movies or something. Help them clean the house if they have to, if they need to do something to get off their mind. Like, do stuff like that. You don't need to be like, oh, can I encourage you, mom, dad? Don't be like that, Space. Don't ever be like that, Space. With how much I've talked about them, there's a reason why I talk a lot about them. You can't be influenced by those people because those people are closed-minded. I'm open-minded. Just how it is, man. It doesn't make me a better person. It doesn't make me any less than of another person either. However, I know what I can contribute. And these people are still self-conscious and worried about if they pleased God today, rather than, did I feed my kids today? Oh, did I pay the light bill? Like, worry about your actual issues first, man. Seriously. Cheers. Oh yeah, and this big library all the way down there, they're making a new one. Apparently it's gonna look 1,000 times better. Because back then, when I was in Jersey every other weekend and I needed to do homework, I always go to that library to get some work done. That library really has a lot of meaning to me because, hey, it helped me at least get some work done and get some books. And if I have to write a book report, it genuinely saved my life. So, alright, there we go.